Okay, so here we're going to look at one in a series of different kinds of hybrid packing systems that incorporate wood and cardboard. Uh, Tremendous value for the dollar and for time. And this one is similar to one you've probably seen where you're using wood cross braces. And this is like very rapid and very easy to do, but you'll notice there's just one brace, and there's a very good reason for that. All right, so here we have a standard dish pack, and we're going to utilize the one wood brace you saw. You're probably used to these. You're probably used to using them as you would in a crate, where you trap an object using two of them, and often if you're doing that like crate type method, you end up often using four of them, and then sometimes crossways. It can get kind of complex, and if you have a delicate object in a box, it's a little iffy. So this is a little different. This has a lot of the same components, your regular brace, but in this case just one, and wafer head screws, which have the advantage of having the broad head, or truss head screws some people call them, that kind of clamps down, and that creates a larger area like a washer, so it's less likely to tear. One trick, like anything when you're dealing with cardboard and penetrating it, is that's like 3 layers of tape put over there. By putting that on first, or whatever, you can do it after the holes, however you want to do it. That actually will strengthen up that joint considerably. For heavier things, that could be important. So we're taking this one brace, and we'll determine where the foam, and the piece where the center is. So this is going to be slightly off center. So in this case, we're starting out with our same brace, our single brace, and what we want to do is have it contact in the middle, just to hold it in place. It doesn't need to be glued. You don't need a glue gun or anything like that. So that basically is going to hold it in place. And then as we stretch, this can conform around the object, which is kind of nice. If you have a heavier thing, you might want to, and this is true for all kinds of packing, including crate packing, you might want to do 2, because if you've ever tried to bend 2-inch foam around something, it kind of puts up a fight, whereas this, you're really just bending 1 inch twice. So it's much more likely to cooperate with you. All right, so here we've cut away part of the box. Normally these would be stretched down so they're not flopping up in the way, as I'm sure you're in the habit of doing already. But I had to tape them here so we can kind of keep this where I can actually get to it. I'm going to endeavor to try and pack this kind of upside down while standing on a stool behind the table. And hopefully it'll be enough to at least get the idea across, if not being a thing of beauty. It's nice to be able to kind of walk around it and bend over and see. But anyway, basically we're going to start out here just by capturing our foam, which, like I said before, that's kind of optional in the sense that as long as you have foam between the hard bits, then you're really kind of accomplishing what you need to do. Right now also, if you notice this seems a little awkward, that's because it kind of is. Like right there, you notice, here's one of the limiting factors with stretch is can you get around it with the roll? Because ideally you like to keep it flat like that to get the most value and the most control. But this is a 3-inch core, which is the standard. So it's very useful for most things. For real object packing on a sophisticated level though, it's better to have a 1-inch core, which is more expensive, a little harder to get. So right there, what I've done up to this point is I've just basically trapped it back against this board, but it still has some movement this way because I haven't really utilized my angles. So basically what I do here is instead of going back to the center, I come down and come out. That actually acts like a guy wire to prevent it from being able to move too much this way, which is really groovy. And then the other thing that sets this apart from a standard crate bracing system is normally what that means is in that case, you end up having to have, these points of contact, and you end up having to have another brace here. Usually another brace at the bottom going this way. Sometimes braces going this way. It gets a little nuts. And of course that means a lot of clunky wood around objects. This way, using this material, because I'm coming off of this point, I can go up high and pull down and actually prevent it from going up just by utilizing so there you can see it's like we're holding it side to side and up and down with the same brace. It's really rather groovy. So that's why you can see why I didn't put anything down around the bottom, which you normally would. Other thing is if you're concerned about this, one of the options that you have, and part of the standard systems we use at NMAI, is like if you got stone and you're not really as confident as you could be about using the stretch, rather than use tons of stretch, which I would generally advise against, it's better to just use stretch. It protects all your surfaces and gets you kind of set up, and then supplement it with tape. And as you know, tape is pretty strong, and especially if you get several layers where it attaches to itself. So if I kind of do a couple bands of tape around here, it'll hold just about anything that's going to hold in this box. And if for some reason you're super concerned, you could always use filament tape, which is yet again strong. All right, so here we'll show one of the advantages or a couple of the advantages in this system. To begin with, you can see, I mean, with a lot of the systems that we're moving towards, and a lot of people are moving towards, there's an emphasis on visibility. You can see what you've got. You can see anything that's fragile. This is pretty stable, but it could have projections. It could have all kinds of stuff, and you can see it when you open the box. In addition to being kind of cool to pack and fairly efficient, the other thing that is cool about it is to unpack. It's a particularly friendly style of packing, because with any of these stretch systems, typically what I do here is put a little dotted line. And so to unpack, it just requires one cut of the knot. So a big risk for which you could get the blame is when they go to unpack it and they're going to remove braces. And of course, you know, the minute it's coming loose and they're unscrewing it, it means they have a big hunk of wood in the box with the object. And it's pretty easy to whack something that way. And this avoids that. And it is also very easy for them, which is nice. All you have to do is reach in and cut that one single strip. And basically the stretch falls away. You can see it release. And actually right now I can lift this out. Just the way it happened right there. And then here we go. That's all there is to unpacking that. That's just high density. It could be loose off the roll, or in this case this is a bag we already have.